Hi, I'm Nicole and I am a senior at Tulane University studying ecology and evolutionary biology and neuroscience.
And I'm Alex. I'm currently a junior studying environmental biology at Tulane. Fire is a strong driver of ecological change around the world. Different cultures and societies have adapted a variety of methods for controlling and managing these naturally occurring fires. Many land management regimes recognize the important role that fire has in different ecosystems. However, with the intersection of nature and society, there comes conflicting opinions about where to draw the line between protecting human interests and maintaining ecological stability.
In the Northern Territory, Australia, there is a widely accepted regime of controlled burning. Many landowners recognize both the ecological importance and the property maintenance benefits of regular fires during the dry season and have developed a culture surrounding fire. Controlled burns are so prevalent in the Australian bush that the government has put in place strict regulations in the form of permitting, fire zoning, and strict fire bans when necessary.
The technique for starting controlled burns that is used on our study site is the drip torch method. This method utilizes a large metal canister filled with fuel, generally a mix of diesel and gasoline. The canister has a sprout on the end that drips the fluid onto a large wick. Once the wick is lit, the flaming fuel drops to the ground easily where it's directed.
Small controlled burns are often set in a closed ring around the area that is to be burned. This technique encourages the fire to burn in on itself as opposed to outwards. For further control of their burns, landowners often have a fire ute that is used to spray down the vegetation just outside of the fire area and prevent the fire from spreading.
When prescribed fires get out of control or a wildfire starts, more assistance might be needed.
Bushfires Northern Territory is the lead government agency for rural fire management in the Northern Territory. They support over 500 volunteer firefighters in 22 different fire brigades with training, equipment, vehicles, and operational funding.
We've had pretty big fires every dry season that have been at Kumali, but the fire in July this year was by far the biggest fire I've ever experienced. Directly west of the house, where the habitat is predominantly gamba grass, the flames were higher than the tree canopy.
Not all fires affect the landscape the same way. The impacts of fire on an ecosystem are often defined in terms of fire severity. For example, low-severity fires often move slowly across the environment because there is a smaller fuel load, and the landscape is resistant to fire for any number of reasons. Controlled burns are generally of lower intensity because they are prescribed at times when an area's resistance to fire is higher. High-severity fires are fires that cause damage to the overstory of the foliage in the area. They are usually faster moving and of higher intensity because of an increased fuel load.
Any modification to an environment is going to impact the ecosystem, and fire is no different. During the fire, many inhabitants are forced out of the area. Larger land-dwelling animals and many insects flee the burn en masse. Other animals such as black kites and other large birds of prey directly benefit from the fire as it burns. Kites, in particular, are often seen flocking around an active burn, feeding on prey as they flee from the flames. Some kites even swoop into the flames and retrieve burning sticks to carry and drop in new, unburnt areas in order to spread the fire and extend the buffet.
The fire, the process of regrowth can be slow, and the wildlife responds in different ways. It's important to study and understand how all species are affected by fire in this ecosystem in order to create and maintain responsible and effective fire management routines. Looking at the effects on birds in particular, many migrant species simply leave the area for unburnt territory. Our study species, the resident red-backed fairy wren, are poor flyers with limited capabilities for significant relocation.
Since my research involves the effects of the ecological environment on red-backed fairy wrens, it's been really interesting to see the ways that the wrens have responded to different intensity fires. With the small fires, they can just move to adjacent unburned habitat, But with the large burn during this dry season that burned the majority of the study site, the birds were forced to use the patches of vegetation that didn't burn as severely.
If you want to learn more, check out these other great resources.